We're here in the area of northern Galilee, and we want to give you one more picture of a great New Testament story. Behind me is an olive press, and this olive press was used during the time of Jesus. They would take bags of olives and they would put under the giant wood press, and they would begin to turn it and press it, and they would press it over a long period of time, and they'd press all the olive oil out of the olives and create containers of olive oil. And we know something about this thing, the place of pressing, or this olive press at Gethsemane. And there's a garden that Jesus spent some time in Jerusalem called the Garden of Gethsemane. And it was known as a olive press or even a wine press. We know both of those were in that place. We know it was a place of pressing. And we see this picture and we're reminded of the great pressure that Jesus endured as he went to the cross. And I'll read you the story out of Luke's account. Mark tells us that it was at the Garden of Gethsemane. Verse 39, chapter 22, and he came out and went, as it was his custom, to the Mount of Olives. And the disciples followed him. And when he came to the place, he said to them, "Pray that you may not enter into temptation." And he withdrew from them about a stone's throw and knelt down and prayed, saying, "Father, if you are willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done." And there appeared to him an angel from heaven, strengthening him. And being in agony, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat became like great drops of blood falling down on the ground. And when he rose from prayer, he came to the disciples and found them sleeping for sorrow. And he said to them, "Why are you sleeping? Rise and pray that you may not enter into temptation." Jesus was in that time in the garden so pressed, so pressed about what he was going to go do on the cross, taking on the sin of the world. We see that played out in the imagery of the Garden of Gethsemane, this vivid picture of an olive press that Jesus Christ, who did the will of the Father, who took on the sin of the world and endured the crushing of God's wrath as he took on our sin and paid for our sin on the cross.